My adopted daughter found her birth mom and chose her over me. When I discovered why she was really given up, I made sure they both regretted everything. I adopted Violet when she was 2 days old. Her birth mother, Daphne, was 19 and couldn't keep her. Open adoption, minimal contact. I raised Violet as a single mom, pouring everything into her. Private schools, music lessons, a college fund that took 15 years to build. She was my entire world. When Violet turned 16, she started asking about Daphne. Natural curiosity. I gave her what little information I had. Violet found Daphne on Facebook within a day. They started talking, then video calling. Daphne was everything I wasn't. Young, fun, cool. 6 months later, Violet told me she wanted to meet Daphne in person. My heart broke, but I said yes because I loved her. I flew Violet out there for a week during summer break. She came back different, distant. Started every sentence with Daphne said this, or Daphne thinks that. When Violet turned 18, she dropped the bomb. I'm moving in with Daphne for college. She lives near a great school and said I can stay with her. It'll be cheaper. I felt like I was dying inside. Violet, I've saved for your college. You can go anywhere. She looked at me cold and determined. I want to get to know her. She's my real mom. Real mom. Those words destroyed me. Violet moved out 3 weeks later. Barely called after that. I'd see her Instagram posts with Daphne. Shopping trips, concerts, beach days. Meanwhile, I was alone in a house full of memories. A year passed like torture. Violet came home for Christmas, but spent the entire time on the phone with Daphne. She left early. I felt like a stranger to my own daughter. One Saturday, I was cleaning out Violet's old room when I found the adoption papers. I'd read them a million times, but something made me look again. There was a social worker's note. Birth mother relinquished parental rights. Father unknown. Medical history, none provided. Social services investigated living conditions prior to birth. Case file sealed per court order. Case file sealed? Why would a routine adoption file be sealed? I called the adoption agency Monday morning. The woman got quiet. Sealed files are only done in extreme circumstances. Abuse, neglect, criminal activity. My hands started shaking. I hired a lawyer. It's for my daughter's medical history. She has a right to know. 3 months and a court petition later, the judge unsealed it. What I read made me physically ill. Daphne hadn't given Violet up because she was young and scared. Child Protective Services had removed Violet immediately after birth. Daphne had been using meth throughout her pregnancy. Violet had been born with drugs in her system, withdrawing, hooked up to monitors in the NICU for 2 weeks. Daphne's boyfriend, Violet's biological father, was a known drug dealer with a violent record. Social services deemed Daphne unfit and forced the adoption. But there was more. Daphne had 2 other children before Violet, both removed by the state, both adopted out. 3 kids lost total. The file included psychological evaluations, antisocial personality disorder, chronic substance abuse, high risk for manipulation. The social worker's final note was chilling. Subject shows no genuine remorse for harm caused to children. Primary concern appears to be loss of welfare benefits. I sat shaking, reading about this monster who had rewritten her history as a scared teen mom who made a heartbreaking sacrifice. All lies. I called Violet immediately. We need to talk about Daphne. I found something you need to see. Mom, I don't want to hear you trash her again. Violet, she didn't give you up by choice. You were taken from her by Child Protective Services. She was using meth while pregnant with you. You had drugs in your system when you were born. You spent 2 weeks in the NICU withdrawing. Silence. Then coldly, you're lying. You've always been jealous of her. I have court documents, medical records, CPS reports. I'm sending them right now. I sent everything. 3 days of silence. Finally, she called back, crying so hard I could barely understand her. Did you know about this when you adopted me? No, baby. The file was sealed. I just got it opened. Why wouldn't she tell me? Violet's voice cracked. We've been living together for a year. She let me believe she was this young mom who made a noble sacrifice. She watched me cry about how hard it must have been for her. I could hear the betrayal, the devastation. Turned out there was more Daphne hadn't told Violet. She was unemployed and Violet's student loans were paying rent. Daphne had a boyfriend living there who was dealing drugs again. Violet had been so wrapped up in the cool mom fantasy that she hadn't noticed Daphne was using her. Using her money, her trust, rewriting history to play victim. Violet confronted Daphne that night. Daphne denied everything, then admitted parts but played victim. I was young and struggling. They took you away unfairly. I've changed. I'm sober now. Except she wasn't sober. Violet found her stash 2 days later in a shoebox. Meth, pills, everything. Violet called me sobbing at 3 in the morning. I need to come home. Please, Mom. Can I come home? I got her on a plane that night. When Violet walked through my door, she looked destroyed, thinner, exhausted, broken. I'm so sorry for everything I said, she whispered. You're my real mom. You always were. We both cried for hours, but I wasn't done with Daphne. I reported Daphne for welfare fraud and tipped police about her boyfriend's dealing. She got 3 years for fraud and drug possession. Violet moved home, started therapy, and found her adopted half-siblings who all had identical stories. Daphne sends prison letters trying to manipulate Violet. Violet throws them away unread. She graduates next year and asked me to walk her down the aisle someday. Not Daphne. Me.